Imagine waking up every day with your child and not having to fuss and fight about what they're going to wear at school that day. No hassling about what pair of new Nikes or LeBrons they're going to wear to school. No being hassled about buying your child the latest fashion trend or $200 tennis shoes just so they can feel comfortable in their environment at school and feel like they fit in because of clothing. Imagine kids not being teased because they don't have the same money at home or the same fashion trends that their parents can buy them, and having anxiety about going to school and wanting to avoid all the pressures of peers teasing them. Anxiety about fitting in at schools and bullying about clothing and materialistic things will be gone if these students are required to wear school uniforms. Students have enough other things to deal with these days than to worry about fitting in because of their clothing. People can remember the kids in high school who had all the newest and latest fashion trends. They don't necessarily remember the kids who didn't have these options and who were often made fun of or left out. Students should be required to wear uniforms from elementary through high school because of the benefits to students, administrators, and parents, which provides a level playing ground for all children. Children will feel more comfortable in school knowing that they're not being judged for what they are wearing. This can create confidence in children who may not necessarily speak up because they're anxious about what they're wearing or nervous about how people are going to take their clothing choice. Brand name clothing promotes clicks, and kids can feel isolated because of this and embarrassed. Safety is also a major issue in schools. School uniforms can help with this issue in creating a neutral environment where there could be gang affiliations by wearing different colored clothing. T-shirts with graphic images or violence are also some type of gang affiliation, and schools administrators would not have to spend as much time trying to go over the areas of what is acceptable and not to wear to school. This gives more time for them to focus on other issues and avoiding phone calls home to parents or fights in the hallways between students. Another benefit to school uniforms is to identify who is supposed to be in the school and who isn't. Since there has been an ongoing problem of violence in schools, usually from outsiders in the United States, uniforms would help to identify intruders more quickly than if everyone was in regular street clothing. A common argument against school clothing is originality. Parents, students, some people feel that uniforms would diminish the ability of kids to express themselves through clothing choices. Kids have many other ways to express themselves these days. They may dress in the evenings and weekends as they choose, according to what their parents allow them. Uniforms can also save school money on clothes and provide parents maybe more of a budget on weekends and evenings to buy clothes for their students, and since they have uniforms during the week. This will help promote more creativity and help students in a school environment to get to know each other based on what their personalities are and interests rather than their clothing choices. This can also help students look toward their future selves. They will learn to express themselves in other ways, which can help build self-esteem and confidence. As students gain entrance into the working world, there are workplace rules, dress codes, and codes of conduct they will have to follow. And wearing uniforms are an opportunity to teach this discipline to students at an early age. In 2010, University of Houston economic professor Scott Emberman and one of their graduate students, Elizabeth Gentile, surveyed administrative data from 160 public schools in a large urban school district. Student demographics, academic and disciplinary records, as well as attendance records were all included in the data that had been filed from 1993 to 2006. The findings show bolstered attendance, academics, and behavior in middle and high school students once their schools adopted uniform policies. Emberman and Gentile noted that the biggest improvement was among female students. They made sure to compare their data with schools who did not implement school uniform policies so that their findings were supported. They also noted that their response became more positive over time, and that the longer a student was in this type of environment, the better they performed in these areas. At the University of Reno, Nevada, a group of college educators took a survey at Sparks Middle School a year after a uniform policy was mandated. When compared with the previous year, disciplinary referrals were reduced around 10% within the first year. A 63% reduction occurred in police reports as well during the same year. Vandalism decreased. Physical violence and gang-related activity all decreased. The success at Sparks encouraged other schools to adopt these uniform policies, and they reached the same positive outcomes. A change in something as simple as clothing can provide an astronomical difference in a youth's school environment. It will not eliminate every problem children face in school, but by building confidence in students, it can discourage bullying and save the administration's time, as well as allowing teachers to focus on what really matters in the classroom. This can save money for families and for schools, and most of all, give every child a fair and equal opportunity to have a great school experience. Having a great school experience can change a child's life.